Well, I'm Morlando the Stress Commando, and I combat stress one solution at a time. I'm happily married. I have a younger brother who I'm very proud of, Dr. David Tercero. And in my family, there's the perfect dozen of cousins, and I'm the third in that perfect dozen in that particular generation. And I love just taking care of family and being responsible. That's why I do what I do, is so I can keep things that are my priority the main thing. Well, I started that corporate ladder climb, and everything just kind of changed when my father got sick. And my father got sick at a time when he was the most stressed out. So it was a mirror to my future, because I inherited my father's curly hair and his work ethic. So I knew once my father's situation was resolved that my life really needed to change. So I'm very passionate about finding people that are stressed out and making sure that they pay attention to themselves and recognize the power of managing stress, managing energy, and managing activity. Well, the top 3 stress tips I would give you is, 1, it doesn't take a lot of time or money. And that is usually what people think. Oh, I don't have time for that. Or they live with that yeah, but on their shoulder. Yeah, but I can't do that right now. And the reality is it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It only takes 5 minutes of me time to actually reduce your risk of heart disease by 20%. So just taking a quick time out to close your eyes, to breathe, to just breathe. And then you have more nerves in your hands and your feet than anywhere else. So a quick hand massage can lower your heart rate, calm your mind, and lower your blood pressure. And it just relaxes you and gets your mind off of what is stressing you out. And just taking that little reset time can really make a huge difference in managing energy as you're going through a stressful time in your life. Number 3 would actually be to drink more water. So as you drink more water, you have less dark circles, you have less chapped lips, you have more hydration. So oxygen, hydration, time out, those are the 3 things you can do pretty quickly in your day to make a huge difference over time. There's actually 2. Personally, the proudest achievement was being there for my family when we had different family members being sick. So my dad being sick was a very proud moment in the fact that I was able to be there and be present. In his absence, I've been able to be there to care for my mom and my grandmother. So I'm very excited that I was able to create a career that actually allowed the flexibility to keep my priorities my priority. Professionally, I'm very proud of the fact that I was actually on a John Maxwell book and featured in that. So that was a proud moment, going, hey, that's cool. That's my picture on the cover. So that's really cool too. Well, some of the things about stress on men and women is, 1, men actually retreat. Men pay attention to stress and take care of it immediately. Whereas women, we tend to want to talk about it. We want to move through it. But I think the biggest mistake I know I make as a woman, and I see other women make, is they ignore it. Oh, it's not that big a deal. I'm stressed. I can power through. The caregiver in us takes over, and we want to care for everyone else, putting ourselves last. And I think that is the biggest mistake that we make. So it's no different than being on an airplane. They tell you to put your oxygen mask on first and then help someone next to you. You can't give what you don't have. So if you don't have the health to take care of yourself, then you can't take care of anybody else. And I used to tell my mom when she was taking care of my dad, Mom, who's going to take care of Dad's caregiver if you don't take care of her? You have to take care of you. You have to put yourself first, because I need you to be there to take care of Dad while I'm working. So I think that's the biggest awareness I would give for women, is recognize that stress is real. It has a significant and severe impact on your health. It's why I'm a volunteer speaker for the American Heart Association, because I had cancer, diabetes, I had Alzheimer's in my family, and never would I have predicted that we were at greater risk of heart disease as women. As my mom and I caregiving for my dad, we were at greater risk of dying of heart disease because of the stress we were under than my dad dying of the rare cancer he had. So that shocked me. So I like women to know this, be aware of it, recognize how it looks different on them, and then realize the power is within them to do it, and that everyone is watching what they do, and they should model that behavior for their kids to give their kids permission to take care of themselves too. I think for women to take better care of themselves, whether you're a mom or you're not, I think the tendency is just to caregive for everyone in your life. And I think the first thing we have to do is, number 1, recognize stress is real and it has an impact. I think the second thing is to make sure that you realize you're modeling behavior for everyone around you. So when I tell my mom she needs to take better care of herself, and Mom, by you not taking care of yourself, you're giving me permission to not take care of myself. She says, no, but you know better, and I taught you better. Well, you did, and you said all the right things, but guess what behavior I'm modeling? It's the way you're treating you. So I think as women, we have to give ourselves permission and recognize that all the women in our lives, whether it's children, family members, are watching what we do. The second thing I would say is to recognize that multitasking doesn't exist. You can multi-project, but you cannot multitask. And so making sure that you put parameters in place to be in a certain space of time. So if you're cooking dinner, cook dinner and move and just tell people, wait a minute, I'm in the middle of this, and put boundaries, use different words, different language, different techniques to make sure that you're being as effective as you can. So when you're a mom, you're showing up as a mom. When I'm a daughter, I'm showing up as a daughter. Or if I'm being there as the stress commando, I'm there as the stress commando. How do you want to show up in the lives of the people you serve? And then implement certain things and behaviors and techniques to make sure you're doing exactly that. And I think, again, as women, we just dismiss it. We don't pay attention to it. And I think that's why it's such a big cause. It is a huge difference. And it's one of the things I teach and coach a lot of people is about the art of being present. And the art of being present means you should not be listening to your inner conversation when you're having an external one. So you need to really be listening to the people that you're there. That moment happens once. And when it's gone, it's gone. So recognize when you're having a memory, and maybe you don't even know that it is until it's gone. So be present. That's the gift that you unwrap every day, is you get to be present no matter what's happening. So if I could talk to my younger self, I would say you're stronger than you think. You're more amazing than you give yourself credit for. And you don't need to be perfect. So I think those are kind of the keys. You don't even know what you don't know. And the greatness that we're all seeking in others resides inside of us. And as life unveils itself to us and reveals itself to us, we actually recognize our own strength. And you realize, wow, I did that. But you may not realize it until it's gone, until the tears have cleared, if that's the situation that shared its strength with you. But it's always moving you forward and building you and building you. And so what can you learn? What can you gain from this? Use it as a springboard, not something that kind of whack-a-moles you and defeats you, as it were. So that's what I would tell myself. Don't doubt yourself. That's great. You've got this amazing inner dialogue. Don't listen to it. Just be the person you want to be present, serve the people you want to serve, and let that be the measure of what you've achieved, not what you say to yourself. Well, there's definitely been a lot of tragic moments or whack-a-mole moments or trajectory-changing moments, as it were, and even the little moments where you sit and suffer what I call WTS, that worthless tool syndrome. Wow, I can't do anything right. I think you just have to take a step back and say, what did I learn from this, and what can I gain from this? So I moved around a lot. I never had a lot of friends, and it was just one of these things where people are like, oh, I went to elementary school with this person. I don't have that experience. Or when my boyfriend died in high school, how do you get through that? And he died prom night. That was quite tragic, and it was just a random accident. So how do you get through that? Why me? And all of those emotions. You move again. Okay, now you're having to start over again. How do you manage that? And now your dad gets sick, the rock of your family. Now what do? I think you just be present, you find the joy in every day, and you figure out what you learn. And so I now wake up every morning and, okay, maybe I'm waking up with a migraine, or maybe I'm waking up with stress in my head, immediately thinking of everything that's going on. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for allowing me to have pain and feel. That's great. Today I have a different mantra I'm going to say. So just setting boundaries, setting a system in place, and then recognizing we're human. If I just need to have a WTS day, that worthless, tool syndrome and the pity party, throw a big, huge bash, but get over it. Get through it and get on the other side. So those are the things that I've definitely learned. Just honor who I am as a person, feel what I need to feel. If I need to feel disappointed because I didn't achieve something, or I feel like I failed at something, I have to be okay with that, fail. And then remember, you fail when you quit and you fail when you don't try. It's how far you bounce. Today I may not feel like bouncing, but tomorrow I will, and that's okay. So women are definitely resilient, And I didn't recognize this until later in my years. So the career that I originally chose was a male-dominated career. I'm very much a tomboy, so I've always had more male friends, been in sports, and had more of a male role model experience. And as I've moved into being a member of the American Business Women's Association and connecting with other women like me, then I've really connected with the resiliency of women, the resiliency that's in myself and even in the women in my family. And what I've really learned is that if you think about even World War II, and Rosie the Riveter just got in, and then I started thinking, you know, American Business Women's Association was founded after World War II. I started looking at my family. Who was Rosie the Riveter in my family? And it was both my grandmothers. And they were in male-dominated areas, and they just made it work. And the mother of necessity, when you need something, give it to a woman, they'll figure it out. They'll find a way. And they will then find a better way and a more efficient way and keep bettering on that. And that's what I realized is we come from a long line of women that are resilient, that have a strength greater than we even acknowledge in ourselves. And we just have to trust in that. You might not feel it. You might be sweating profusely. You might be scared in a certain situation. But I will tell you, you won't die. You'll be okay. And just do it anyway. In hindsight, you're going to be so glad you did. Because the one thing I definitely have learned, thanks to my dad, is at the end of it all, you don't regret the things that you did. You regret the things that you did not do. So you know what? If it scares me, if it kind of makes me a little sweaty, then that's what I should do. That's guiding me to being resilient and building that Teflon armor that we all have, but we're still looking for. Just recognize you already have it. So what would I like to do that I haven't done already? Well, there's a couple of very serious answers to that and then some funny answers. So I would very much like to throw a touchdown pass at Candlestick Park. I'd very much like to be in a Star Wars movie. I do believe I'd make an excellent Jedi Master. I have a high midi-chlorian count. I hope Lucas is watching. I also would like to do a TED Talk and be on a big stage inspiring other women that they're good enough and just to put one step forward. So those are just some of the things. Just have fun and just show up and be present and make other people have fun and just have a moment. I want my legacy to be that she lived full out and she showed up full on. She gave 100%. I don't believe that you can give 110 because no one can give more than they have. So I want her to, she lived large, she laughed large, she loved large. She made a difference, she mattered, she cared big. She served and, you know what, struggled and yet did it anyway. So if that can be my legacy, that maybe nobody remembers my name, no one remembers the curly hair or the craziness, but they remember the lesson that was learned or the way they were made to be felt when they were around me. I think that's an amazing legacy. And if anyone can duplicate that and pay that forward, whether it's someone I've touched, someone in my family, then I lived a good life. The power of women is really what resides inside. Our ability to connect, our ability to love, our ability to rise above, our ability to be resilient. I don't think we honor ourselves enough. We apologize. We say, I'm sorry. We marginalize ourselves. We need to stand tall. And I realize as I say this, this is just as much for me to hear as it is to say to anybody else. We need to stand tall and say, I am good enough. I have something of value. I have worth, and I'm worthy to receive. That's the power of women. And we can take all of this and through our tears, we can launch companies and careers and people and lives and citizens. But more importantly, we can inspire our own self to be a better version of ourselves. The greatness lies within. We just have to unleash it.